What's up, everybody? Another episode of Smoking That Ish, Season 2, Episode 3. Shout out to Dgame Podcast and Dgame Studios for allowing us to record here, of course, as usual. And have you checked out the episode of the Dgame Podcast that I was on, Dgame 6923 on YouTube? You should go over there and check it out, and check out some of the other episodes over there. Some nice stuff, especially, what is that? 4 or 5 already? Especially if you're a guy and you need help, you maybe getting your life together. It's a pretty good place to check out, you know? Shout out to Cloud9 in Mitchell for having the best stuff. I know we recently just had to get a new pod for, my girl's vape. And she likes the top load, and all they had was side load, so he ordered some top loads for us. And it was super nice, and he could do that for you too. So go into Cloud9 in Mitchell and check him out. Superior Buds in Mitchell, shout out as always for being the hometown shop, but also comes with some news. And finally, back to talking about just some buds and stuff for the start of this show. Get back on track a little bit, you know. Shout out also to Charlie Hempseed. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for the love. A lot of positive people being positively negative at the time. Nice to have somebody, you know, come from a decent place. Superior Buds in Mitchell now with 1889 Farms. And I personally couldn't be happier. 1889 Farms now available. It comes in eighths. It comes in quarters. And I'm sure it will get bigger and bigger as time goes on because I will be buying a lot of their stuff. Their Sherb cream cake is, I mean, I don't know if you got to try it last time it was around. It's my personal favorite. I think it's one of the best strains that I've ever tried. I think it's incredible. I absolutely love it. It does exactly what I need it to, you know? Calms me down without putting me out. It's very, very, and it's really good. Just a very nice terp profile on it, and I'm a big fan. Big fan. Super happy that it's there. It's got fluffy, sticky nugs. And like I said, it's as good as it was last time, if not just a little bit better. Definitely hope that this stays as one of their regular rotations because it's really, really good. I haven't been this excited about a strain since I was smoking, what was that? Pitbull Acres and their Gary Payton. Oh, when that first came out, that was magical. Probably still is. And then another one from 1889, their Lotto 95. Beautiful, nice, tight nugs. And it had a really, really subtle but good smell to it. For me, it was too much. It made me too anxious. It was too much of an upper for me. I'm not sure. I didn't really check the strain sativa, indica. I don't really check that. I just try it, see how it reacts for me. And Lotto 95, I mean, if you like to get up and go after you smoke, go ahead and pick up some of that Lotto 95. And, I mean, that's a good one. If you're a morning smoker, like on your day off, you're like, shit, I got to clean my house. And then you got to get in the right mindset. Boom. That's good for you there because it's a go-getter. I imagine the same reason that, you know, it wasn't a favorite of mine is going to make it a favorite for almost everybody else, you know. For me, I constantly need the downers, you know, all the time. And I got to, you know, that's how I'm wired. That doesn't mean anything about the bud. It's just, it's not for me, but it's very good for people who want to get up and get shit done. If you're ambitious, it's a good one for you. And then Alien Thug Rose from Dakota Green. Now this one it was the smell that hits you first. The strong scent coming off of this one is what catches you first. It's very, very powerful and very, I don't know. Um, it's like a wide variety of smells at the same time. It made me think of words that I don't use a lot. It made me think of words like dank. Yeah, dank is a good description of what it smells like. And then the buds were beautiful, almost as beautiful as the scent. And by itself, it's a solid smoke. Another one that is a good smoke without putting you out, really nice smoke. But personally, I used it because of how good of a flavor it had, along with a nice, powerful high. I used it to take the edge off of that Lotto 95. And it added some nice, not only did it take the edge off of the 95, it added some nice punch to the high. And it was very, very nice. So shout out to Dakota Green for that. That's a good one. You might want to get in there. These are all available at Superior Buds. All the stuff I'm talking about here. They always have, I'm sorry for my wheezing. Just got that sweet, sweet lung disease going on. But all the stuff I'm talking about is available at Superior Buds and probably many other places in the Sioux Falls area. So get out there and try some of this for yourselves if you don't believe me. Or just give me your opinion, how it affected you. Maybe it reacts differently to different people. We'll see. Also available, 1889, a.k.a. High Hills. So if you see them High Hills products, that's also 1889. Now it has live rosin, and it kicks like a mule, dude. It kicks hard. I got the black ice, and it's delicious. It's so good. It hits very, very hard, but without being, without killing you. It's very strong and smooth and nice. And it's a live rosin, so it's a little bit, it can get hard in, if your house is a cooler temp, it can get kind of hard almost. So make sure you're heating your little tool up a little bit before you get in there. You don't want to snap a chunk off and send it flying, you know what I'm saying? But it's very, very, very good. I see very good things coming for them in the future. 1889 High Hills, I see just 1889's already killing it, They're already doing so well. And High Hills, they caught a lot of flack from people for God, they were doing rosin for a long time. This is the first live rosin I've seen, really good live rosin I've seen. And I think that they're on the upswing for sure, to any of the doubters that were out there. So I think a good thing's coming for High Hills and 1889 in the future. And also it's nice to see the selection increase. Not so much that, you want something different in different brands. From the Hills has a nice thing going. But it's nice to have multiple, like, increased number of strains, the concentrates. There's an increased number of the strains of concentrates. So, I think that'll be really nice. Just to have more selection available for what suits you, Yeah, I think it'll be good. I think it's a good thing. Martha Stewart there for a little bit. High Hills also has carts out too. All right. 1889 and Urban Extracts. Dante's Inferno is one of the ones that I checked out. And it is half a gram of liquid diamonds, dude. Liquid diamonds. Okay. That's a pretty good description of something. If you can call it liquid diamonds, it's solid, and it's 80.1%, and it's no joke, dude. It's no joke whatsoever. Couple rips off that, and you're good for a while, Very, very nice. then that, of course, I look forward to that just continuing to get better. And once again, more selection on cards. I know Sodak Selects has very nice cards that they have out, and this is a nice addition to different strains being out at the same time, a wider selection for the customer to get. Just I think it's a win, big win for everybody. Oh, and then not to leave out From the Hills, of course. And I can't buy something from everybody every single time, but these are the ones I tried to spread it out, spread the love around. From the Hills, I did a pre-roll check-in with From the Hills, dude. Just checking in on some of the pre-rolls they got going on, seeing how that's going. I tried White Devil, and I have tried the concentrates of White Devil before, and they were very pungent and very tasty and powerful. And they had a strong scent to them, very strong. When you open just the little container, a very strong smell, which is not common for all concentrates, but some of them definitely. And this one, it's when I opened the tube, the immediately I thought it smelled exactly like the concentrates did. And I've never had that happen before, where a flower smelled not only the same as the concentrates, but smelled as strong as the concentrates. Like it was beautiful. From the Hills, you guys over there. It was a glorious day when I opened that, and it it hits you very hard, very hard. It's very tastes really, really good, and it has a nice sedative high, just like you would expect. Extremely similar to the concentrates, actually, but in flower form. So if you try the flower and you like it, or if you try the concentrates and you like it, you will like the other. Vice versa. Definitely, for sure, 100%. Also, I tried strawberry diesel cookies from the Hills, and that was basically the same story, only a sweeter flavor on it. It had a very nice sweet flavor to it, and it was and it hit. That one was just, not that the other one wasn't, but this one was noticeably silky smooth when you hit it, and powerful, very powerful. So From the Hills still killing it, if anybody's wondering, just destroying it over there. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to get into the final part of covering this, okay? This Senate Bill 42. All right. South Dakota, I don't think they want us here. Part 3. Section 7, 34-20G80. And I know the talk is boring. I know some of the wording and stuff is boring, and that's on purpose. It's so the average everyday person doesn't pay attention to this stuff. Okay, so bear with me, please. The last part of this one, and then we'll get on to something new next week, and then also possibly be getting into the history of cannabis and marijuana itself, at least the best that I can decipher. I don't really have a research team or anything, but if anybody wants to work for free and do research and stuff, get on over here and check it out. All right. Senate Bill 42, Section 7, 3420G-80. The department may, and it used to say after a public hearing where the medical cannabis establishment has a chance to be heard. It now says after notice and hearing in accordance with Chapter 126, impose probation, impose a fine. That's the new and or reworded part, and it goes on to say suspend or revoke a registration certificate for multiple negligent or knowing violations of this chapter by the registrants or any of its agents, which I think is a funny wording. Agents of the marijuana company. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, I'm here about the damn. Hold on a second. What am I here for? About the oh yeah, I'm here to stop the terrorists about the bomb thing, and I never mind, man. Agents of the marijuana industry. The department may not impose a probation period that exceeds 6 months or suspend a registration certificate for a period that exceeds 6 months, except for a serious violation in patient health and safety. What is your health and safety worth? In which case, the suspension may not exceed 1 year. So 1 year. I have a little bit of a problem with that because like 1 year, and it says serious violation of patient health and safety. Like serious like could you have killed people? Because maybe that should be more than a year. You know, could somebody have died? That may I don't like that the max is a year. You know, I also don't want them destroying people for minor offenses either. So, yeah, I don't know about that one. Comment. Let me know how you feel about some of these. You know, I would love to get other points of view, other opinions on this. If a pharmacist was to do like the same thing, you know, wouldn't they be risking their like licensing and looking at jail time or prison or something like that? I mean, since we're on the same level now, prescription drugs, we're on the same level as that. So I don't know. They need to lessen one or make exceptions for the other. Maybe just for terms where you could have put someone's life at risk, you know, just to protect patient safety. I think, a personal opinion once again. Section 8, 34-20G-81. The department shall provide notice of probation, fine, suspension, or revocation. Now, that's pretty much just a rewording, except the fact that they took out a part that required them to give you notice of the hearing. They kind of took that out. And they must notify you by mail. That part hasn't changed. So, Section 10, because I don't think Section 9 really changed my... If it just reworded a couple things, I'd just pass it over. You know, there's no reason to really dive into it if it just, you know, covered nothing, basically. Just change the words around. Section 10, 34-20G-88. But Section 10, confidential. This is where some of the stuff comes in because... Now your data, your confidential information has to be shared with the prescription drug monitoring program. And the confidential data or data that is not public record kept or maintained by the department may only be disclosed as to, and then it gives a list of reasons, but, you know, like potential, you know, if you're involved in a criminal case or stuff like that. But we want to focus on the new one that they added, number 8, which is comply with the reporting requirement of Section 11 in this act. Now, that would be the next one we're going to get to. Sorry for the pause, but, you know, wheezy. Section 11, that Chapter 34-20G be amended with a new section which states... The department shall submit the name and date of birth of a qualifying patient who receives a registry identification card to the prescription drug monitoring program authorized pursuant to Chapter 34-20E. I think that's got to be a different part. 34-20E. Look that up if you want to get more into that. And I think this can be taken a lot of different ways. One, I don't want, of course, who wants the government to be more involved in things than they need to be? Nobody really wants that. I mean, not if you think about it, because the government, they overregulate things. There's a bureaucracy that comes with government involvement that is not needed in most things. So to have them have more influence and stuff is not always a good thing. And so anything that says, they're adding me to a monitoring program of any kind, they're adding me to a monitoring program and calling me a marijuana agent, it's kind of, it brings up thoughts of like dystopian future, 1984 kind of things, Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But it makes me think conspiracy theory type stuff. I'm an agent now on a monitoring program list. But on the other hand, you can also look at it as marijuana is being treated as a prescription drug by South Dakota and being talked about as a prescription drug, which is also very, very nice. And that may potentially, as a prescription drug, could potentially lead to hopefully medical insurance if people have a good medical insurance program, helping out with maybe their prescription marijuana purchases, and that could really help some people out and be a good thing in the long run. And then, conspiracy theory people go back to insurance companies, start to get a larger influence in the marijuana industry. And then, that leads down a dark path, slippery slopes, etc. But you can't always think the worst. Prepare as much as you can, but you can't always think the worst about everything. At least, I try not to. And we'll talk more about it after we get done with this here. Just one more section to go. Section 12. Basically, it says the same thing as Section 11, but the other way around. Prescription drug monitoring program must now include everyone with a marijuana identification card or that, works in the industry. That kind of thing. I think. Yeah. That. And I know there's been a lot of back and forth and people saying I'm uneducated. I'm literally trying to read through bills on stuff and share opinions with all of you. So while educating and doing educational stuff, I remain uneducated apparently. And I think you're confusing uneducated with sharing your opinion, because you can have differing opinions on things and still respect each other. And that, back to what Charlie had, he messaged me on Instagram and I talked to him. Well, I haven't really responded much, but I plan to respond on here. He's coming from a place where he's currently following a path where he tries to not be negative in any way and keep everything to a level of positivity. And I think that's great. If that works for you, that's awesome. And do it to the fullest. But I feel like if I were to do that personally, I would be ignoring like half of what goes on. I feel like I want this podcast to be more about honesty than about trying to lean one way or the other, positive, negative, on this person's side, pro industry, anti industry, this, that, just personal opinion. So there will be negative things sometimes if negative things arise, which inevitably they will. And hopefully we can agree to disagree on some things. And I don't mean to laugh, I just pretty high. And I never thought people would take this show seriously enough, like as seriously as people do. And I'm honored to have people care enough to add their opinions and sort of try and keep me in check, at least with the pheno type thing, stuff like that. I appreciate that. And yeah, I would love to do more research on some of the things that I cover on here. But like I said, it's just me. I don't have a team or anyone that helps research any of this stuff. And I do as much research as I can. And I may miss a thing from time to time because I am a human and I am flawed. So, but I think the other stuff was just blown out of proportion. And if people want to, you remember that you can always come on this show and be a guest and talk about your point of view on here. And I'm more than happy to learn and talk with anyone. And I've always said that on this show. But I feel like a lot of the people, especially the angry people, aren't even going to watch this show to the end. They're going to skip through and look for inflammatory parts and reasons to get angry because essentially that's their goal is, once they it's a dog with a bone. Once they find a bone, they just keep going, But yeah, like I said, this is the last time we'll be covering this particular bill. It'll be on to more marijuana news, essentially, and some personal stuff and any potential guests in the future, I guess, We'll just see what happens. I'm not, another thing people have mistaken, I'm not doing this for views or for clicks or for notoriety or clout or subscribers or any of that. None of that is why I started doing this or any of my concern, really. I just simply enjoy doing what I'm doing, and it's fun for me. And I want to have a place where honesty is more important than socializing and schmoozing with everybody. It's more about being honest. And everybody has flaws, and sometimes those flaws come out and people talk about them. If I have friends, I'm not 100% positive with my friends all the time. We talk about things, and that's how we sort through our problems. Is sometimes those negative things come up and you talk them out. So remember, if anything I said here offended you or made you feel bad or made you want to unsubscribe or write an angry or whatever comment, remember, you can't be mad at me for what I said when I was smoking that ish. All right? And we'll see you guys next time. Okay? Be nice to each other.